Imagine a small pawn shop turning into a worldwide sensation, making everyday people famous. Richard Harrison, known as the Old Man, created that world. But what impact did his long career leave on Austin Russell, the friendly Chumlee who was like family? The answer might surprise you. His influence ran deeper than money, touching his life and fame. Richard started his first pawn shop in 1981. Not a fancy store, but a tiny 300-square-foot space on Las Vegas Boulevard. He had big dreams and worked every day to make them real. Without Richard's vision and effort, the shop wouldn't exist, and neither would Chumlee's chance to be part of it. Richard was the main reason the shop was there, and it became the stage for Chumlee's surprising inheritance. Building the shop didn't happen overnight. Richard and his son Rick faced many setbacks. After 5 years in that small space, they moved to a larger place on Fremont Street in 1986. A year later, Richard got a special license to buy and sell second-hand goods, but their lease ended in 1988, forcing them to decide quickly. They moved again, this time to the biggest pawn shop in Las Vegas, less than 2 miles from the famous Strip. That location is what everyone knows today. The story of their move and licensing problems shows how they kept fighting and changing with times. Richard and Rick never gave up. Chumlee's inheritance wasn't just a job. It showed how to run a business with strength and smart planning. It was a lesson he learned outside of school. Getting a pawn license in Las Vegas was tough back then. An old law from 1955 said licenses could only be given when the city population hit 250,000. When Richard and Rick started, Las Vegas had only about 20,000 people. Rick called the city's statistician every week for over 2 years, just to check the population count. Finally, in 1988, the population grew past 200,000, and in 1989, it reached 250,000. After legal battles, they got their license. It was like winning the lottery for them. The long fight to get that license and Rick's weekly calls show how determined they were. Richard's move to Las Vegas in 1981 with just $5,000 after losing $1 million in real estate shows how much he believed in starting over. He was ready to start fresh and had a clear plan for the pawn shop business. Austin Russell, known as Chumlee, wasn't born into the Harrison family, but grew up close to them. He became best friends with Corey Harrison, Richard's grandson and Rick's son, when they were just kids. Their friendship was so strong that Rick treated Chumlee like a son. He was always around the gold and silver pawn shop. Even as a boy, the talk of Chumlee being Corey's childhood friend and Rick's son made it clear he was part of the family business early on. This wasn't a formal job interview. It happened naturally. Chumlee's connection to the pawn shop started long before he worked there officially. Being around and learning from the family's way of life gave him more than just job skills. It was real inheritance. When Chumlee turned 21 in 2003, he began working at the Gold and Silver Pawn Shop. He stayed there for 5 years before Pawn Stars even aired in July 2009. His daily tasks included working behind the counter, testing items brought in, storing valuables, and writing tickets for bought items. Richard, the older man, played a major role in teaching Chumlee. Rick Harrison admits he wasn't happy about hiring one of Corey's friends at first, but he gave Chumlee a chance. Rick treated him like family, and shared many important lessons. Chumlee says he could always count on Richard to either set him straight or make him laugh. That guidance helped him grow. Rick's willingness to trust Chumlee despite initial doubts shows he cared about him more than just as a worker. The way Richard was there to teach him life lessons and lend emotional support shows their relationship was deeper than business. Rick Harrison first pitched the idea for a TV show about the pawn shop 4 years before it aired, but it didn't work out. Then, in 2008, Left Field Pictures saw potential. They wanted to create a reality show about a pawn shop in Las Vegas. The History Channel picked it up, changing the plan. They brought in experts to check the items and highlighted the staff's personalities. The show was first called Pawning History, but later named Pawn Stars. It premiered in July 2009 and quickly became popular. Within 10 weeks, it was the top-rated show on the History Channel. It was also the second most-watched reality show on TV after Jersey Shore. Rick was the one who pitched the show, but Richard was the real force behind it. At first, he didn't want to be filmed. Still, his decision to participate and his consistent presence helped give the show a genuine family feel. Richard later said that getting the TV show was the best idea he ever had. His years of hard work at the shop and his unique personality played big roles in the show's popularity. His act of giving Chumlee fame was a result of his efforts in building the business. Even though he was hesitant at first, his influence was key. Before Pawn Stars, Chumlee was just a regular guy working at the pawn shop. But everything changed when the show aired. His quirky style, humor, and relaxed attitude quickly made him a fan favorite. He became the breakout star loved by millions in America. His popularity grew so much that his merchandise, T-shirts, and novelty items sold better than those of any other cast member. He even started his own business to sell these products. Chumlee's rise to fame and recognition is directly linked to the show's success, which depends heavily on Richard's solid business foundation. That his merchandise outsold others shows he knew how to use his fame well. His fame connected his personal brand and financial success directly to the platform Richard helped create. This made fame an important, though indirect, legacy. With fame came new problems. The gold and silver pawn shop turned into a giant tourist spot, with thousands of visitors coming every day. This meant Rick, Chumlee, and Corey couldn't work the front counter anymore. Crowds would surround them, taking pictures and bothering customers. Privacy laws made this a legal issue, so they had to move to office work away from the front. Chumlee also needed help, because managing his fame and daily tasks got too hard for just one person. Moving from front counter work to office duty was a direct result of the crowds and privacy problems. It also showed how fame brought unexpected challenges. Chumlee made some serious mistakes at the shop, but Richard, the older man, always forgave him. One mistake happened long before the show started. A pricey upright base was pawned for $700, but it was worth much more. Chumlee accidentally knocked it over, and it shattered into many pieces. Instead of telling anyone, he cleaned up the mess and put the pieces in a box labeled as the pawned item. When the owner returned, Corey, unaware of what happened, handed him the box. The man was stunned to find his base broken into thousands of pieces. That mistake ended up costing the shop $20,000 to replace a rare and valuable instrument. Corey called it Chumlee's worst mistake ever, and he almost lost his job. Richard chose not to fire him. This act of forgiveness shows how much Richard cares and believes in giving people second chances. It was a strong lesson for Chumlee. Richard saw more in him than just his mistakes. He saw potential and value. Another time, Richard let Chumlee fire an old display gun called a blunderbuss. When Chumlee shot it, flames and smoke burned Corey's arm, leaving Chumlee with a scar. This was a moment Chumlee would never forget. Even though he got burned, Richard's decision to let Chumlee experience things, even dangerous ones, teaches a different lesson. It's about learning by doing, even if it hurts a little. This hands-on approach helped Chumlee understand the shop's items better. It also built trust, as Richard allowed Chumlee to be part of these special moments. Chumlee also learned smart negotiation skills from Richard. He used them to buy a fancy Maserati for $85,000, saving $15,000 from the usual $100,000 price. This shows Richard's business smarts passed down to Chumlee, helping him make better money choices. This practical skill helped Chumlee grow his own financial life. One surprising side effect of their fame was that Chumlee and his family were basically not allowed at garage sales across the country. People who recognized them thought they would try to buy things very cheaply or get valuables for next to nothing. Rick even mentioned a woman took a painting he liked and said it wasn't for sale when he asked about it. While this might seem like a problem, it shows how far Richard's fame reached. Chumlee's image, shaped by the show, made his everyday life change in ways he didn't expect. The show and Richard's influence had a big effect, even on small things. Chumlee also got to have amazing moments because of the show. He met rock star Jon Bon Jovi, who invited the guys to his concert. They got front-row tickets and even brought someone along. Later, they went backstage to meet Jon Bon Jovi's family and kids. Chumlee said, "We met his kids because they wanted a picture with us. He gave us front-row tickets. That was pretty cool." When does Bon Jovi invite you to his show? Meeting a big star because of the show's success is another special memory. Richard's role in the show helped open doors to experiences Chumlee might not have had otherwise. This shows how fame from the old man's business brought unexpected benefits, even if indirectly. Chumlee's real name is Austin Lee Russell. He was born in Henderson, Nevada, on September 8, 1982. When he was around 12, he got the nickname Chumlee because his face and chin resembled Chumlee, the walrus from Tennessee Tuxedo. Growing up was tough for him. He was bullied because of his weight, but he found comfort in video games and comic books. These interests helped him through hard times. His friendships with Corey Harrison and the Harrison family played a big part in his journey to become a TV star. His story shows that life wasn't always easy, but personal passions and friends helped him find his way. Eventually, those same connections led him to the business that made him famous. Chumlee faced legal troubles. In March 2016, police searched his home during an investigation. They found crystal meth, marijuana, Xanax, and many unregistered guns. He was arrested but released on bond the next day. In May 2016, he was charged with 20 serious crimes, including drug and weapons charges. His lawyer negotiated a deal, and he pleaded guilty to a felony weapons charge and a minor drug possession. Instead of jail time, he was to attend counseling and serve 3 years of probation. The other charges were dropped due to lack of proof. He had to surrender his weapons to the police. The judge warned him that if he stayed out of trouble until 2019, the serious charges would be erased from his record. Only the minor ones would remain. If he got in trouble again, he could face 2 to 5 years in prison. Later, Chumlee said facing his mistakes made his anxiety worse. He knew he needed to make better choices. This rough patch showed a different side of him, someone trying to fix his life. The History Channel even considered supporting his comeback, seeing his struggles as a story of redemption. His legal problems showed that the platform from the show, which Richard helped create, still played a part in his path. After his legal issues, Chumlee turned his attention to health. He had battled weight problems for years, reaching 350 pounds in January 2019. In February 2018, he chose to get gastric sleeve surgery, removing most of his stomach. He lost 10 pounds right after the surgery and set a goal to drop below 170 pounds. By October 2021, he had lost 160 pounds, weighing around 190. He said he was tired of fighting his weight and wanted to change his life. He chose to live healthier by eating clean and working out regularly. He also began a sober lifestyle. His friend Corey Harrison had weight loss surgery in 2014 and lost almost 200 pounds. Chumlee shared his journey on social media, inspiring many others. His change shows his strength and his wish to better himself. It also reflects a new maturity that came from his experiences. The struggles he faced, including the public attention from his fame, pushed him toward personal growth. This growth can be linked to the lessons and forgiveness he received from Richard. Chumlee used his fame to start new businesses. In May 2017, he opened Chumlee's Candy, a shop across from the gold and silver pawn shop on Bilvid Street. He runs the shop with his younger brother, Sage Russell. The store sells Chumlee's favorite candies, old-fashioned treats like candy, cigarettes, Turkish taffy, and bulk candy. On opening day, the most popular item was Big League Chew bubblegum. Chumlee has talked about creating his own line of candies, including Chumlee lollipops and Rick's Gold bars. This shows his entrepreneurial spirit and how he is turning his fame into new business ideas. His branded merchandise, including clothing and novelty items, sell better than those of other cast members from Pawn Stars. In 2010, he sold half of his novelty business to Rick Harrison for $155,000. This helped his merchandise reach more customers and was a smart move for growth. The sale also built on the success Richard helped create. Even after Richard Harrison passed away in 2018 from Parkinson's disease, his influence on Chumlee stayed strong. Richard left most of his money and businesses to his son, Rick. Chumlee was not named in Richard's will, but he spoke often about their close bond. He said Richard was like family. Chumlee shared on Twitter that Richard was a big part of his life. Richard treated him with kindness and gave him lessons he would remember forever. Chumlee said he would miss him a lot, and that Richard could always make him laugh or straighten him out. The real inheritance from Richard wasn't money or property. It was the personal bond, guidance, and lessons he gave. Chumlee's story, from childhood friend to TV star and businessman, is closely connected to Richard. Even though Richard didn't leave him a fortune, he gave him something much more valuable: a start in business, a platform for fame, and most importantly, a lifelong mentor and friend. These are the true treasures Chumlee got from Richard. They shaped his life and success in ways money never could.